The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Where my girls got the sweetest pussy. Welcome to SinCityBounty.com. Hey, we are Toxi-less tonight. We are non-toxic. We're non-toxic.
This evening is brought to you by the CDC and Poison Control. Stay non-toxic. No, we're not going to stay non-toxic. We'll be totally toxified next week.
Yes, we'll be totally toxic next week, and the week next week is duly toxic because we not only doing our show on Tuesday, but we have a special broadcast on Saturday from Excellence BBW's. It's not winter weekend, summer weekend,
Summer Bash.
Summer Bash. That's what it is.
It's a week long, so it's a bash.
I don't know if you're still if it's still available, but if you visit xlence.com. Stu does bashes, BBW bashes, all over the country. And I don't know if it's sold out or not. I really don't know. I should know the specs on the bash.
If you're local, there are local discounts for certain nights. Just go to the website or Google it on Facebook. There's all kinds of whatevers.
And there are probably some of you out there who don't know, but a BBW Bash is where BBWs and their admirers can get together to party. There's classes usually, there's clothing fairs. It started many years ago with the original BBW Bash here in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is like the place for most of them, the big ones, but they're all over the world now.
Actually, we're just down to the Summer Bash. That's really that and Winter Weekend.
Winter Weekend, yeah.
There are other bashes in other parts of the country that are, and in Canada, that are actually bigger than ours now.
There are a lot of people who are really uncomfortable. I mean, I'm not a girl that goes to clubs. We're not clubbing people.
Not anymore.
I don't like to hang out in bars anymore. So sometimes a BBW girl who is less than self-confident would like to meet people who like that kind of body, or meet other women of BBW size, and get to be friends and get to know them and hang out. And that's what BBW Bashes are. You get to meet a bunch of great people. There are classes on how to be, my favorite was how to have a BBW girlfriend, which was so cool. I think that was put on by your friend, Hans. I think he put that on. Maybe not.
Hans has done a couple of things. Horny
Right.
Hans. He's been on the show a couple of times. I love him and his wives. They're my favorites.
Right. Anyway, they happen here in Vegas twice a year. One of these years, we're going to go to San Diego for the Catalina Bash that's there.
Maybe not this year.
I totally want to go to Canada to do the best bash.
Hell yeah, but we got to get our passports.
I know. And they're all over the country. There's Florida ones, and there's I think there's one in Ohio. They're just all over the country.
Yeah, there's the Cocoa Beach Bash in Florida is supposed to be like the big ring dinger dinger now.
Yeah.
And, like, I want to go do that one.
So if you're really into, big girls, or just hanging out with other people who are into big girls, and or are a big girl and want to meet new people, find one in your area. They're not very expensive to go to. And we usually broadcast for the last 8 years that we've been doing this show, since 2010. We usually broadcast at all these, thanks to Jacob Palmer from Plush, who brought us into the fold.
He popped
with
our
his,
cherry.
Yeah, he did.
He popped our cherry.
Jacob Palmer from Plush Nightclub, who is doing the little party on the 16th, which opens up the opening of the
pre-party.
The pre-party for the bash itself.
If you want to get in on, it might be too late to get in on free drinks, but if you buy the Plush BBW tank top It's free drinks from 9 to 10 at the pre-party.
Right.
Just Google Plush or go to Facebook and look up Plush BBW. They got stuff.
So we'll be there Saturday night to broadcast interviews from the dance, outside the dance area, the party for that night, and as we do normally, and it'll be just a live stream broadcast. We'll probably record it here on Facebook, which is what we did last time. It turned out pretty good.
Yeah. I might try. I might not try it at this one because it's a new system and it's something I want to diggle around with. But if you've been a fan of the show for any period of time, you know that we are friends and fans of Jason Constantine. Despite all of his drama, we still love him.
Love him.
Because none of the drama is directed at us.
Nope.
He has recommended a new streaming service to us that will allow us to stream to multiple places at once. So you might be able to start seeing us live on YouTube as well as on Facebook.
We'll see, though.
We'll see.
A lot of those take a ton of bandwidth. I remember Silent Mike was going to try to do that, and his Apple computer could not handle the bandwidth that it took to do it.
Yeah,
of course, he was trying to stream to like 5 different platforms.
Yeah, no, we're just trying to do 2.
So
we'll see. To everyone who's asked us if we're going to be streaming on Twitch, we are not. We violate a lot of their terms of service. And so we're not going to, because we talk about sex and sometimes we do things like we'll just
motions.
Talk straight up like he put his penis in her butt. Facebook is clearly okay with it. They haven't fucked with us yet. Fingers crossed. YouTube's okay with the audio. We just apparently can't show much more than this for skin. But as far as what I've read of Twitch's terms of service, we really walk a very fine line. So no, we will not be streaming on Twitch anytime soon.
Speaking of terms of service, those of you who are fans, huge fans of our YouTube channel, which we love, by the way, that you are. I see the many hundreds of thousands and sometimes some months millions of minutes of our videos are watched. It's awesome. But I'm going to be pulling all of the BBWcon.com videos, interviews from the channel because they're getting a lot of attention. And we've already been gigged twice by terms of service and violations or whatever. And that means we only have one more strike left.
Yeah.
Before we're banned from YouTube. So I'm going to be pulling all of those videos.
Yeah, somebody is reporting them because YouTube does not go back 5 years to look at videos unless it's reported. So somebody is reporting our videos, and the pattern seems to be that it's someone in particular that's being reported repeatedly. It's been the same person in both videos so far.
So far. Right.
So,
and while we love your comments, like the latest comment was, I'd like to see Mandy Majestic, Sasha Jugs, and one other person in a threesome. I would love to see that.
Same here.
But because you commented on it, puts it up at the top for other people to find, which means someone might report it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be pulling those videos.
Because they're dicks.
Yes.
Big, giant, ugly, festering, wounded, syphilis-riddled penises.
More in the realm of what we do and who we are. Well, of course, you know who we are. We've been who we are for the last 8 years. But we have a super secret Facebook group.
We talk about all kinds of shit in there.
And post pictures we don't share publicly. And the only way to join that super secret Facebook group is to become a fan of ours on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/SinCityBounty, you'll find us. Pledge $5 a month for just a month. Try it out. If you don't like it, you don't have to stay.
You can unpledge. We've had plenty of people unpledge, you little bastards. We went from making $13 a month to $5. No, that's not true. We make
20. We actually did from 20 a month to 13.
Yeah. So some of you bitches in that that Facebook group getting a free ride. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we
you
do
need to
that.
be sharing some shit all up out of this thing.
Oh yeah, please. And when we do go live, since you got the notification, please share it onto your wall, especially if you're
brave enough. Because I get it, yo. I get it. We are a lot. We talk about butt sex. Yep. Every single show.
No, we talk about poop every single show. Every fucking show, it slides right into poop.
You're the one that brought it up this time.
Yep, I sure did.
Poop tastic.
All right, because Toxi's not here, we want to talk about some fabulous stuff. First thing you should know, because of my fabulous Bujo, which I'm not going to hold up because my real name is on it, today is Cow Appreciation Day.
Moo.
Appreciate my cowness.
Moo.
Moo. It is also Kitten Day.
Meow.
Johnny Fever's favorite day.
He likes pussy.
He does love pussy.
Yeah.
What do you have marked for Tuesday?
Nothing.
Just Taco Tuesday?
Yeah, that's
I
what I call it because of our show.
That's why Toxi's not here.
I believe, maybe it wasn't, maybe I think it was yesterday. It was Tesla's birthday, and I need to write it down.
Nikola Tesla?
Nikola Tesla.
I think I saw a new Model 3 Tesla. I saw a Tesla that had no model name on it today, and I was a little like, what is that one? It had no model name on it.
Is Musk going to launch it into space?
No. Hope not. It was driving down
That
Eastern.
is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Car in space?
Yeah.
It's very heavy metal.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw it. That's
It
the
is
opening
very
for
heavy metal.
That's that
Taking a ride.
1980s magazine, art magazine called Heavy
no,
Metal
it's a
for those
movie.
of you.
It's also a movie.
It
You
was a
never saw the
magazine.
movie?
It was a magazine first.
Yes, I know, but it was a movie too.
I
That's where
subscribed to
the car
that
came
fucker.
from.
Yeah.
The movie was amazing.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
The movie was good. What about the remake?
I haven't seen the remake.
Neither have I.
No, maybe there is no remake.
There's a remake for everything these days.
Rule 34.
No,
Anyway,
no,
my
not
theme for this month is space, planets.
Woo.
I shouldn't have done that. I got all this private information in here.
Well, look, unless they got like some super duper shit, they ain't seeing it.
They can pause it and magnify it.
Not that well.
I'll just keep it moving. Moving.
Yeah.
Moving.
Good job sticking to
Hey,
that.
before we go too much further, can I make one comment about
Yes.
you guys and YouTube and getting busted for whatever the hell you got busted for?
Yes.
Space.
Space, the final frontier.
That is, you know what? You know that Star Trek has made such a mark on our culture when the first thing you think of whenever you hear the word space is...
The final
Final
frontier.
frontier.
Yeah.
Because it's the first thing I think of every time I hear someone say, in space, the final frontier.
So you had a comment about our
My
YouTube
comment
reporter?
was, okay, are you familiar with TV Land?
Yes.
Okay. There's a show on TV Land called Teachers.
Okay.
So, teachers are sitting in a bar, after class, of course, and they're playing Truth or Dare.
That never ends well.
No, it doesn't. And so the one teacher says to the other teacher, hands her a beer bottle and says, I dare you to shove this up your butt.
Yeah.
So she goes in the bathroom and does it.
It's really not that
Now,
hard.
that is not cable TV.
Yeah, that's...
Any kid has access to that.
Well,
And every kid has
So
access
why-
to TV Land. That's a cable channel.
No, it's not.
it's basic cable, isn't it?
Well, you have to have some kind of... I mean, you can't get it with an antenna.
Yeah, it's basic cable.
Right,
Yeah.
basic cable.
It is
But
a
my
channel
point is-
that is purported to be family-oriented television.
Okay,
Right.
so your
So
point...
my point is, but YouTube's going to bust you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, YouTube busts us for the amount of flesh being shown on our videos.
Yes.
Bullshit.
No.
Tell
that's-
them about the whole ratio thing. Go.
So, well, this is Facebook's thing. So if you've ever had a picture, if you're a big girl and you've ever had one of your photos reported to Facebook or whatever, it probably hasn't been reported by a human being. Facebook has a flesh tone ratio, and this is why white girls get gigged more often than black girls do, because it's really hard to tell what black flesh tone is in comparison to other things. So whites, Hispanics, Asians, they get gigged more often than the darker toned people of color do, because it's a computer estimating the amount of skin being shown in a photo. This is a lot of skin to show in a photo, but it is not a lot of skin for me. See, I'm modestly dressed. For all of you, be like, your shoulders are out. Fuck you, fucking people. Just go braid your hair some more. I show more flesh in a bikini than a skinny girl does in a bikini, but I'm not proportionately showing any more flesh. I'm wearing the same amount of clothes. I have the same amount covered. There's no Like, you're not going to get a peep of nipple or anything from me, just like you wouldn't get a peep of nipple from her. But my photo would get gigged before Skinny Girl's was because the flesh tone ratio in the picture is bigger than in the smaller girls.
So don't take close-ups.
Yeah, it's got to be like
I was
selfies
just
far away,
thinking
but-
about that, about selfies, because in
back.
selfies it's all face,
Yeah.
right? But I
Yeah.
think my phone recognizes a selfie photo from any other photo and puts it in a specific, my iPhone puts it in a specific folder
Big
as
Brother is
selfies, right? So I think maybe if they have that algorithm to do that, then they probably have a selfie recognition algorithm as well.
Yeah, they probably do. But YouTube doesn't, because it's video, it's not a static image. It's a lot harder to run an algorithm against the video. It's not impossible. It's just a lot harder, and let's be honest, YouTube's not doing that. But people do report a lot of videos. There is, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you crazy ass anti-fat people running around just reporting people's videos. Like, don't you have anything better to do? The only reason you are looking at my fat ass on a video is because you Googled for something that showed up with my fat ass in it. And I don't show up in a regular old video search like, you know, Star Wars. You're not going to come up with our videos on fucking YouTube.
Well, it might if I use Star Wars as a search for
Maybe this,
search tag.
maybe in this generation, but in our previous iteration,
Yeah.
trust me,
Right.
nobody was Googling which Star Wars character am I, and suddenly came up with our video,
SinCityBounty
a SinCityBounty
right.
video. So there is some asshole out there reporting our videos. If you are that asshole, fuck you, and not in the good way, and maybe with a cactus.
Anyway, so I'm pulling all those videos. So if you want them, go download them now. There's a bunch of places online where you can download YouTube videos. If you want them for yourself, go download them for yourself. I'll be downloading them all to save in our archives for whenever we need to pull them up. I've already lost the Julia Sands one where she was in the back, Julia Sands' mom, because Julia Sands was in the back doing the motorboat booth, which I can understand, risque, but there was no nipple.
No, we were very careful that there was no nipple. We made sure we had pasties big enough for the nipples that were going to show up.
Speaking of nipples, someone told me that there was a law passed, and I don't know, I haven't heard this, I haven't researched this. Have you heard this? That it is now legal for women to walk around buck-ass naked in Nevada.
Not buck-ass naked, topless.
Topless.
And it's federal.
It's
The
a federal law.
Federal government has lifted its ban on women being topless in federal public. The states still have the right to regulate it, but the federal ban is lifted.
I did
In the
not
state
know
of
that.
New York,
So you
they've
can go
lifted.
topless on federal land,
Yeah.
like a military base.
I'm going to fucking Yosemite, baby.
In the state of New York, that ban's been lifted for a long time now. Anywhere
Yeah.
where a man, the law is basically anywhere where a man can be shirtless, a woman can be shirtless now.
That's actually cool.
In a lot of states.
I think so.
I
That's
think
cool.
so too. I mean, I'm not going to do it because I step on my nipples and get really bad boob sweat. But yeah,
Ball boobs.
dude, they smell like testicles sometimes.
That's going to stop soon, though.
What's going to stop soon?
No, it
the
isn't.
equality of toplessness.
No, it won't.
Yeah,
Why?
because we're going to have a new guy on the Supreme Court. So
No, that won't stop. You know why? Because the president wants it that way. The president wants to see all the boobs, and so the boobs shall stay. If there is one thing,
he just wants his daughter's boobs.
ugh, so gross. I don't really want to get into politics right now.
No. I brought a whole bunch of other news besides the political news that's going on right now.
Sorry, moving right
Oh my
along.
God. All right. Anything else about us that they need to know? I don't think so. No?
Us personally?
No. About SinCityBounty.
Oh.
About SinCityBounty.
.com. Patreon. Just start spending money on us. I'm really disillusioned with my day job right now, so I would really like to make enough money to not have to work.
We want to fucking travel. We want to
want-
go to your city
We want
and
to
do a
put
live
the show on the road. Yeah, we want to do a live show in your city. If they have a space that will take us.
I'm sure there'll be a local bar somewhere. I want to go to every
We're gonna be
Irish
crammed.
bar.
We're gonna be
every
crammed in a
city.
corner with like covered in cigarette smoke and cigar ash. We're gonna be like, it's SinCityBounty.com live from Bob's Bar in Punxsutawney, fucking Pennsylvania or whatever. Like we're just gonna be in some little tiny bar in some tiny little town,
Bunch of fat girls in an Irish bar.
drinking.
Go to
But-
Salt Lake.
You know what? Salt Lake is pretty hopping for
Yeah.
a Mormon Temple City.
Yeah, they've got actually. I was reading in the comments earlier. So Crystal Ivy is one of the sister wives from Salt Lake that we interviewed a long time ago, like a couple of years ago.
That was before me coming back, right?
Yeah, I think that was before you coming back. But yeah, so Salt Lake's actually got a semi-decent scene, I guess. We'd do it up there. There's bars there. There's like one.
We'll do it anywhere.
That's not a lie. That's the truth.
So I wanted to, because...
You should raise money to do your show at Mar-a-Lago.
No.
Ugh.
Unless Mar-a-Lago gets bought by some Arab
I will
conglomerate.
not.
You could do a GoFundMe page to buy Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, no.
I would
And then do the
definitely
show
go
from there.
if an Arab corporation owned it, because the Arabs love us for some reason.
Hell yeah, they do. Like, they don't want anybody to know, but they love us. They want to marry me all the time. You so honey sexy lady.
So
We marry you, white girl?
So
That's what they're all like.
God damn it. So I went looking for sci-fi news, science news, and other news besides the political crap that's going on. And this is total nerd stuff. So I don't even know if you guys are going to like this or not. But
Fuck you.
the oldest, thought to be, oldest version of Homer's The Odyssey has been uncovered at Olympus.
That's really exciting.
I'm so excited about this story. I wrote like a ton of shit, which I'm not going to tell you or bore you with. Just type in Odyssey found news. Type in those 3 words and you can go read the story for yourself. But I am so excited about it because I love the Iliad and the Odyssey books
I do too.
by Homer. I like, of course, the newer interpretations of it because I like newer versions of old shit, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But anyway, that's my top news for this week. Is the oldest version of the Odyssey has been found.
My top news for this week. So I listen to podcasts, and I've been listening to Radio Lab. I'm totally doing a plug for another podcast because, trust me, our audiences don't cross over. And they're doing a mini series called Gonad right now about the reproductive system. Gonad is a term for either testes or ovaries, in case you didn't know that. So they have found that it is not the X or Y chromosome that makes you male or female. It is a single gene that can exist in either the X or the Y chromosome. There are millions of cases of men who are XX and millions of cases of women who are XY. Sorry, my sister seems to forget
You're
that
live every Tuesday night.
that I'm on the air.
Much like my mom does.
Yeah. On the air. Sorry, and I forgot to turn my ringer off. So, yeah. That's
What's the name of the podcast again?
It's called Radio Lab, and they're doing a mini-series. They're on week 3 of the mini-series. The mini-series is called Gonad. But you can find it just looking up Radio Lab on whatever place you like to get podcasts, because they're like us. They're podcast hoes. They're everywhere.
William said, would love to see you guys do a show out here next year during Anchor Fest. Anchor Fest. Is that the way that you have it spelled? I'm thinking Anchor Watt, which is not where you are. It's over across the world.
My sister says, I know, butthole, I'm watching.
And Anchor, if it's anchor like an ocean, that means Navy dudes, right? Well, we're there.
You know he's in a landlocked state where there
I
isn't
know.
like
I
there's
don't
like
know.
a river. No.
Well, he's spelling it like Anchor Watt, which is over in the east, far east over there.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah, me either. Anchor Fest.
By the way, butthole is an affectionate term of endearment between me and my sister. So is asshole and dickhead.
Maybe, does she have something important to add to the conversation? Is that why she texted you privately instead of putting it in the chat?
No, I don't know. Let me check my text message.
For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, the fancy video with the beautiful background behind us, we stream live Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time
on
Facebook. And that's who we're talking to. You can join us live and chat in the chat with us, and we usually respond.
Yes, dear sister of mine, I have dropped a little bit of weight since you were out here.
What is a land anchor? William, stop being obtuse and just say it. What is a land anchor?
I don't know.
I have no idea what this boy's talking about. Okay, the next story that I had. Did you know they're making Indiana Jones 5?
Yes.
Was it Indiana Jones and the Temple of Arthritis?
I love Harrison Ford. Don't get me wrong. I love Harrison Ford in every movie where he's being Harrison Ford.
Which is every movie he's in.
Which is every movie that he's in. But what are they going to do? I mean...
Is Shia LaBeouf going to be in this one?
I don't know.
I love that little crackhead. Like, he's crazy as fuck and probably addicted to 5 different drugs, but he is adorable.
What do you think, Johnny?
Plus, his name is fun to say. Shia LaBeouf.
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 I think that Dr. Jones will probably take all the...
Dr. Jones!
Take all of the people from the urgent care or the home, on some kind of an adventure.
Dr. Jones and the Adventure of Old Fucks? Like, what is it going to be?
I hope
Dr. Jones gives a
bring
lecture.
Sean Connery back for this one.
I hope not. No, he's dead. He's in a jar on Jones's desk.
No, he's not.
Yes, he's dead.
He's not dead yet.
No, he's dead. They mentioned it in the Crystal Skull movie. He's dead, and I think he's in a jar on Jones's desk.
Yeah, Sean Connery's not dead.
No, the father
Indiana
is dead.
Jones, this old man, is dead.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a fan of Sean Connery, so I hope he doesn't come back.
No, me neither. Because he's also another one who plays all the same.
Did you hear about Elon Musk's child-size submarine?
Yes. So Elon Musk...
Submarine.
SpaceX, Tesla,
yeah,
he put together a submarine to help rescue the kids, but they were able to get all the kids out without the help of the submarine. It's still unclear whether he actually got it sent down there or not. But I think, you know what? This is an instance where it is the fucking thought that counts. Here's a guy who put millions of dollars into research into basically one thing that's only going to be used for one thing. He's not going to make any money off of this. He still paid everyone who worked on the project. He still paid for all the materials, paid for all the stuff. He still put money back into our economy here to build this thing to rescue the kids in Thailand.
Now,
wasn't he? I mean, what happened? Wasn't he going to do something down in Puerto Rico?
I don't know about that. I just know that there were 12 kids and a coach that were trapped in a cave for several days.
Couple of weeks.
And Thai Navy SEALs went and finally rescued them. Elon Musk sent down or was creating or making or putting together a small child-sized submarine. And because he didn't actually help and the submarine didn't come in handy, he has been made fun of all over Twitter, which is one of our favorite places.
Stop it, Twitter, stop it.
Well, but we can't tell Twitter to stop it when we fell in love with Second Civil War letters.
Listen, they got
because
it right.
that is Twitter.
They got it right with Second Civil War letters. You guys cannot bag on Elon Musk for putting millions of dollars into a project that could have saved lives. It's the fucking thought that counts, you goddamn turds.
The thing to learn from this is you cannot rely on the accolades that you have already had.
No.
It has to be about what you're going to do next. And everybody needs this lesson. You have to be humble, a sort of humble, and, they're just making fun. That's all.
Man.
They're just making fun. It's just all in fun.
Leave my next baby daddy alone.
Elon Musk is a 21st, 22nd, maybe 25th century kind of guy. And I'm sure he's got a strong, thick skin.
I love you, Elon.
Right, Elon?
You're my boo. I'll hold you.
In our comment section, we have, I asked
Dr. Jones and the Orthopedic Adventure.
Sierra about the fact that she is skinny bitch. Maisie has her face up against the screen. Dr. Jones in a wheelchair exploring. Dr. Jones and the Orthopedic Adventure. Land anchors are anchors for mobile homes in Tornado Alley. Oh. And Centralia, Missouri, is the lead manufacturer of land anchors, and every year the company that makes them hosts a festival, kind of like a small town arts and crafts festival, and carnival with a custom car show on the last day of the festival. That is actually cool. See, why couldn't you type that the first time?
So, okay. So here's the thing. So this is a festival designed around a company that builds a product to keep white trash people from blowing away and landing in Oz.
But aren't we white trash?
Yeah?
and we ourselves could be considered anchors.
Someone's on a self-deprecating trip today.
Well, you know, tornadoes are God's way of telling people not to live in mobile homes.
Yeah. Yeah. Tornadoes are God's way of telling you to own a home in the basement.
All right, you covered the genome XY chromosome thing, so I'm going to skip the koala.
Did I actually?
Kind of. The
No, I think I
gene-
only got to the part where it's not a chromosome, it's a single gene. Because we were laughing about gonad the whole time. Talk about the koala. No, the koala's fucking cool.
It's okay. They have sequenced the koala genome. That's it. I mean...
Well, what that means, so for those of you who don't know, I'm going to cross over the two
Yes.
stories now. So what that means now, the more full genomes that we map out, the better we become at understanding how genetics works and how to reverse genetic diseases and how to treat genetic mutations in people, there are lots of, for instance, my mother has a genetic blood clotting disorder. It's not genetic passed down from parent to child. It's genetic in that it's an instantaneous genetic mutation within the body. And if we can take CRISPR, if you don't know what CRISPR is, Google it. If we could take CRISPR and a full understanding of how the genetic model works across the entire mammalian species, we could reverse things like that so people don't have to be on super expensive drugs. In most of these cases, if we can develop a genetic therapy, it's a once or twice thing. Like you get it done once or twice and that's it. They've been able to successfully genetically treat a couple of disorders. In gonad specifically, they were talking about the X and Y chromosome. It's not a chromosome, it's a single gene. What this can do is for people who are transgendered, if we can turn that gene off in them, they don't become a woman or they don't become a man, but they do stop producing female hormones and start producing male hormones, or stop producing male hormones and start producing female hormones naturally. And so the side effects of the additional hormones they take wouldn't happen anymore. They would still have to go through physical reassignment surgeries, but they wouldn't have to take the really, really dangerous hormone medicines that they do.
Of course, with all this genome sequencing and gene tampering that could be in our future, there is that slippery slope of the movie Gattaca. Do you remember the movie Gattaca?
Yes.
It's always everyone was like, oh, stem cell research will lead to that. No, you know what stem cell research led to? It led to a 90% cure rate of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's what stem cell research led to.
Here's the thing. Well, here's the thing for me, anyway. I have no issues with technology that helps us be better people. Like video cameras on every corner. If you're not doing shit wrong, then those video cameras, number one, don't hurt you. If something has happened to you, those video cameras could help you in finding who did something wrong. Right?
And all you people who were like, I have a right to privacy, not in public. The minute you step out of your private home and into a public environment, you no longer have a right to privacy with the exception of your personal thoughts.
And that's past technology. That doesn't even talk about future technologies. Like genome sequencing. If there's something wrong with you, if you can manipulate genes, that can be fixed in you. Granted, the insurance company, because you came before your genes could be fucked with, could say, hey, we're not insuring you because you have, this gene for heart disease or whatever. That is part of the negative parts of it, but hopefully it would help you in the long run, right?
Yeah. Ultimately the goal is to make healthcare better for everyone. There's always a slippery slope in every single genetic or every single scientific research out there. I don't care what science you're researching. Geology. I don't care if you're researching genetics or biology. I don't care if you're researching the sociology of tribes in Africa. Like, I don't give a shit what you're researching. There's a slippery slope in your research.
Yep.
They're always... Huh?
Automobiles led to teen pregnancies.
There you go. More people fucking in the backseat.
Right arm.
So, yeah, there's always going to be a slippery slope. But the point is that we move forward and we don't keep ourselves from moving forward. That we progress rather than regress. And so sequencing a koala genome, the complete koala genome, we can determine if there's many things that cross over, many diseases that cross over between species. Some species fare better with them than ours do, and it might be some sort of genetic code they have that maybe we can use to our advantage.
How about lizards that can grow back their tail if they've been
I
detached?
would love to be able to give someone a genetic shot, a little CRISPR shot that goes in there and it's like, all right, bitches, we're in, and regrows a leg or a spinal column or an ear or...
Look at our veterans, you know, that have lost limbs and stuff like that in wartime. And hopefully if we got to the point where we were smart enough to do that, we'd be smart enough to stop fucking killing each other.
However, I am going to start producing limb regrow porn because anyone who has seen Deadpool or Deadpool 2 and his tiny little baby legs or his little bitty baby arm.
I'll take those movies if you have those too.
Oh my God. I think I have... No, I don't have them yet.
I don't have 2 yet.
But anyway... Oh my God, those are amazeballs. Everyone else who can't look at it, and I can look at it for days and days and days. I'm getting into limb regrowing limb porn.
Hey, what's his girlfriend's name? The actress that plays his girlfriend?
I don't know, but she's hot.
Yeah, she's in everything.
She is.
She's fucking in everything, man. I mean, she was the chick from Firefly, right?
No.
Yeah, she was the hooker.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, she was the hooker. Yes.
Yeah, and
Inara?
Yeah.
The girl who plays Inara?
Yeah. And
I know my Firefly.
And she was in...
I know she borrowed it.
What was the other one? V or something like that, and a lot of the other...
Was she in V? I love that show.
Not the original.
They made a remake of V?
Yeah, there was a remake.
Yeah. V for Vendetta?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm talking about...
No, V the TV show.
The Alien TV series.
Oh, yeah, no, they did, and that one was also awful.
The place that Freddy Krueger got his start.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yes, they did do a remake, and it was also a mini-series or some shit like that. It was also terrible. Are we going to get into remakes now?
No, not yet. I wanted to talk about science. One more thing about science.
Yay, science.
And that is, this is what I love about scientists today. Every time, because I follow a lot of science pages, so I get a lot of stories in my feed.
My favorite is I fucking love science.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That is a good one. But every couple of months, there is a story that comes out that is based on actual scientific research that wine is good for you. Or there's a search out now with everybody on keto diets and paleo diets and low-carb diets.
They're all bad for you.
There's a scientific study that just came out that said pasta is actually good for you.
Everything is good for you in moderation.
Right. But one that came across my feed today, of all days, when I was doing science research, was science finds out what we love saves our lives. 7 cups of coffee a day will actually prolong your life, according to this scientific research.
I drink 1, maybe 2 cups of coffee a day. Granted, they're like 32-ounce cups, but...
Right, which would probably actually be, 6 goes into 32...
yeah, it's like 4 or 5 cups. Yeah, it's like 5 cups that I drink a day, basically.
And
I drink a pot before I even leave the house in the morning.
I drink a pot, but it's only 8 cups according to the measurement on my thing. So
I have 7 different ways to make coffee in my house, and I only use one of them, and it's very irregularly. I use my Keurig more than anything else. My actual 12 cup pot doesn't come out unless she's coming over.
Yeah. And I always make a pot.
And if it's more than just her, the 32 ouncer one, or no, the 32 cup one comes out.
Is that actually a coffee maker or just a dispenser?
No, it's a coffee maker. That bitch, it's a percolator.
Nice.
It'll percolate the fuck out some coffee. Yeah, it takes like 4 cups of coffee to make.
Can you find it like a La Quinta?
Yeah. That like scalding hot burnt gas coffee. Yeah, I can make that too.
I love La Quintas, by the way.
We used to make coffee in 55-gallon drums.
Yeah.
And you put it over the fire and you boil the water and you just dump the coffee grounds in. We had these big wooden paddles.
And then you just sip it off the top.
Yeah, then we strain the coffee out of it.
What was it? So our Sierra did a lecture the other day, and she says that people smashing grapes with their feet started the yeast process for making wine.
Yeah. That's not exactly accurate, but people using dirty feet to smash grapes to make wine is how yeast was generally introduced way back in the way back. Look it up, motherfuckers.
You sure it was feet?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking of my feet, and I'm like, oh, hell no.
No, I would never drink any wine that you bitches smushed with your feet. None of you. I am not drinking feet wine.
Okay.
But that's how, like, now that we have commercially made yeast, we can create wine without smushing it with dirty feet. Or praying to the yeast gods that some falls into our vat to make wine with.
So currently, I do not have Wi-Fi accessibility at my house. So I have been relegated to watching all my old DVDs, which is, I'm so glad I didn't get rid of all of them. I have a ton of them still. So I've been watching all my old movies, most of which happen to be either rom-coms or science fiction movies. And I love all my old science fiction, except for 2001 Space Odyssey.
It's a great movie.
I'm sure it is. Artsy-wise, I'm sure it is, but it bored the fuck out of me. Anyway.
Get high and watch it. It's great.
I
saw it, the second time I saw it, I was on acid.
Oh, my God.
In the Cinedome in Hollywood.
I did go visit my mom yesterday, and while I was there, I turned on my Amazon Prime, and I was watching some old Doctor Who episodes. Not old. David Tennant episodes of Doctor Who, and it pissed me off. All of a sudden, I was just angry, and it was the stupid episode with the Master and the Troclophane, and the Master's trying to take over with the Archangel Network. Geek fans know what I'm talking about. But then they go to the Valiant, the airship, the Valiant. Do you, for those of you who are Doctor Who, it's what are those ship called where the airplanes launch
Aircraft
from?
carrier.
Aircraft carrier that
flies.
That flies.
A flying aircraft
right?
carrier.
And it just pissed me off that we don't have those yet. Why
tried.
do we not have aircraft carriers that actually fly?
Do you know,
We have
tried.
not made any fucking scientific advances in 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
After the fucking 60s, that's it, man.
Because Hindenburg. That's why.
And
we don't have a fucking space program anymore.
Well, we're gonna have Space Force.
I know, isn't that cool?
It's gonna be led by aliens.
But because so this like prompted now all the sci-fi that I'm watching at home. I'm like, why the fuck don't we have this yet? You know, I watched Batman Begins, which is one of my favorite Batman movies, and he's got his car, and I'm like, why is this car not fucking commercially available? What is wrong with our society? And then I have to think about it. This in the hands of someone like my brother would be wholly dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure it's cost prohibitive, and anyway.
But it's only cost prohibitive initially.
You would
Yeah.
think.
Once it's developed, and once you've got through the prototypes and all the research and start mass producing this shit, then it's going to be cheap.
And then I'm watching Iron Man, and he's got that arc reactor thing in his chest, and they've got this big giant version of it. I'm like, why do we not have cheap electricity yet?
We do.
Why?
Because people make too much money off
Yeah.
of the shit that we already
Oh
have.
science fiction movies are just pissing me the fuck off right now.
If you live in Nevada, vote no on 3. Monopolies killed the industry. Just saying. Everyone who's against deregulation is against capitalism. Just so you know. If you love capitalism, you should be pro-deregulation.
I'm a fan of regulation.
Well,
Because people need to be fucking watched.
well, the regulation right now keeps us from having solar power commercially available to people.
No,
Okay, that's a
not-
different kind
that's
of
not
regulation.
That's fucking fascism.
Yes.
Or conglomeration
Yeah.
as opposed to
That's
regulation.
fucking
It's a-
greed.
It's a monopoly right now, but it is the regulations that keep it monopolized.
But it's the people who make the regulations.
Yeah, and it's the people
Like,
who vote.
I'm
the
a huge
regulations are also why we don't
So-
have 8 and 9-year-old kids working in fucking
right.
sweatshops.
I'm a huge fan of the EPA.
Right.
There are
you know.
there are regulations that are necessary, and there are regulations that are not
Of course,
necessary.
and I agree 100%.
The question that you've posed, why don't we have cheaper electricity or better renewable energy resources? So a lot of the renewable energy companies are like, we're not asking you to give us the subsidies that you give to the oil companies. We're just asking you to not give the subsidies to the oil companies. Because right now, everyone thinks oil is cheaper to use. The only reason it's cheaper to use right now is because the government subsidizes it. Your government, you are on oil welfare. You are all on oil welfare. The government pays for a lot of your oil. That's why you don't spend as much as we do in the UK. A gallon of gasoline in the UK has been $5 since the 80s. We don't pay that much because our government pays for it. All that money that you're like, government, spend less money with the government. Fine, let's stop subsidizing some of these larger industries. It's unnecessary, and make them pay taxes, because we could have cheaper renewable energy. Thank you. If we were less douchebaggy, if there were less bro flakes in the oil industry.
So we were talking about sci-fi shows. Doctor Who is one of my favorites, as campy as it can be sometimes. And I sat through all the old Doctor Who's, as campy as they are, because I'm not a big fan.
You need another X. It's 2 X's.
Yeah. Because I'm not a big fan of campy sci-fi. I like the remakes. I like the new Doctor Who. I like the new Star Trek. I like the newer version. I like the new Blade Runner, even though almost unbearably slow.
I like the new versions, and I like camp. I love campy sci-fi. But there is a limit to the amount of camp that is acceptable.
So when we were talking about this in the car, she brought up this show.
Oh, God. So some friends of mine suggested that I watch this 90s Canadian sci-fi show, and I love 90s Canadian sci-fi shows. They're fucking amazing.
I was thinking Continuum. That is a great Canadian show.
Holy balls, that is a great show.
Right?
Continuum is amazing, and it got canceled way too early. It's Lex with 2 X's on the end. And I would just like to warn you all, if nobody warned me, the first season is all 2-hour-long movies. It's 4 episodes. It's 8 hours in total. The first 2 episodes will melt your mind with the stupidity that is involved in them. And I don't know if it's because I'd finally been brought down to a science of sleep level of idiocy to be able to accept episodes 3 and 4 of season 1. But episode 3 wasn't as bad, and episode 4 was also not as bad. And I'm now in season 2.
Are there only 4 episodes per season?
No, because after that they go back to letter. They
that's
go
more
back
British than Canadian, I think.
No, because season 2 is, I think the first 4 were released as movies, as TV movies, and they've bundled them now as season 1. And season 2 is like 45-minute episodes, which would have been an hour long on TV, and it's like 12 or 14.
Are you going to actually finish it?
There are 4 seasons of this shit, and I am going to finish it.
How about Red Dwarf?
That's the one.
No.
So I'm trying to think of the name of the one. I tried Lex. I did try Lex.
Yeah.
I think I got like 10 or 15 minutes in.
Yeah, 10 or 15 minutes. I was like, what in the fuck are these people making me watch?
And then, of course, some of my sci-fi friends recommended Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
I tried that, and I think I only made it 10 or 15 minutes in.
Red Dwarf.
I don't like
the last couple
campy.
of seasons where you know the
If you can't get me through episode 1, there is no way I'm watching the last seasons
couple of
it.
seasons. Yeah, I am.
But the cat that was on the ship gets turned into a human.
So this is another thing that we were discussing. One of the things, I grew up, I was a kid when I watched the premiere episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Therefore, Star Trek The Next Generation is my Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I loved Voyager. I loved DS9. I love the movies, as horrible as they are. I love the old series, as horrible as it is. I can't watch the old series, but I understand it for what it is. But it is what you watched, the first time you consume something, that becomes your series, right? You said you watched Red Dwarf when it was on the air. When it premiered, and Lex, right?
Yeah, originally.
Which is probably why you liked it.
Well,
in your frame of mind, at the time.
At the time,
yes.
That's what you have to remember. I mean, we were all a bunch of drugged out hippies. And
are those 60s shows?
No, this drugged out hippies 20 years ago would have been in their 40s and 30s and 40s. Okay. They would have been our age.
Right.
So, you know.
Your age.
Well, your age too.
Kind of.
You are barely out of your 40s. Fucking barely. She's like, well, you know, young people. Bitch, you barely 50. Barely.
You want to talk about young people? I'll tell you about young people.
So I fully understand
I
if
got socks older than you guys.
Yeah.
if Star Trek the original series is your very, very favorite show, because that's what you grew up on. I grew up watching the original airings of Battlestar Galactica. I love Battlestar Galactica. It was Starbuck, the actual blonde-haired dude Starbuck. You know, he was fucking hot for the time. You, however, don't like it.
I don't like any of them. I don't like the new one or the old one. And I'm sorry, my fellow sci-fi fans. I did give that one the fucking good old college try, and I gave up on it. Here's the thing. I may eventually give up on Lex, but I probably will never go back and watch Battlestar Galactica, and I'll probably never go back and watch fucking Babylon 5, which everyone's like, oh, Babylon 5.
I can't
and I'm
stand
like,
Babylon
ugh.
5 either.
Oh, I can't either.
I love them all.
I
See?
can't.
But the thing
Babylon 5 competed with Next Generation for me, and Next Generation was the way it was forever.
They are all unique in
Always.
their own uniqueness. I mean, it's, you know, there's some real shit out there, but
There's some serious shit show bullshit happening out there.
but that's part of what makes it cool.
I am never going to be a super true sci-fi fan for this one very reason. I found a copy of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, which I have never read.
Oh,
Hold on.
Wait.
And then I said, okay, I'm going to read this so I can be an actual true sci-fi person, right? Because this is supposed to be the epitome of being science fiction.
It's not necessary.
So I'm watching, I think it's Amazon Prime again, and they have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
the
British series.
Right, British TV series.
So I turned that sucker on to watch it, and it's worse than the original Star Trek. I'm just telling you, it's bad.
But the
it was
book is-
originally, that TV series was originally a radio series.
I understand that.
Right, and then they made it into a TV series.
I understand that
Okay,
too.
but did you see the movie?
It's the
Yeah, the
humor in
movie
it.
was good.
I don't like the campy fuckingness of it.
Well, the book
You
is
don't
like
like
that.
Vogons?
I don't like Vogons. I am never going to read this goddamn book.
Okay, well then here's the thing, and I'm going to give you a little advice. Douglas Adams was brilliant.
He's an amazing writer.
I'm sure he
also
is.
wrote some other books. One of my favorites is Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which was brilliant, just absolutely brilliant.
There's a
Then
movie
the
or a
sequel to
TV
that-
show now. Yeah.
The sequel to that was The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, and it was basically about Dirk Gently. Dirk Gently was a holistic detective.
I've seen that TV series as well.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
No, you have to read the book.
No,
Yeah.
because I just can't. It's the type of humor. I'm just not a fan of that type of humor. When I fell in love with the movie Blade Runner. Blade Runner is my #1 top movie of all time. I could watch that movie over and over and over and over again and never get tired of the original Blade Runner
It's
TV
mostly
show.
for that naked blonde guy in the rain scene.
True. Rutger Hauer is the
Rutger
main
Hauer.
reason why. But when I found out it was a science fiction book originally written by Philip K. Dick,
Right.
my ass went to the library, checked out Electric Sheep Dreams,
Do-
whatever the hell
do
that
elec-
book is.
Do Androids
Do
Androids Dream of Electric
Electric
Sheep.
Okay.
And I tried to read that motherfucking book. And I'm sorry, but Philip K. Dick sucks as a writer to me.
All right, how
I
about-
cannot
how about-
read his writing.
How about Stranger in a Strange Land?
Robert A. Heinlein. That's a good book.
Heinlein's pretty good. I like
love
Heinlein.
I've read everything he's written.
I'm an
Absolutely everything.
I
Asimov
wouldn't-
fan. I'm a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah,
Asimov
Asimov
fan.
fan.
Stuff, all the robots, iRobots, all that shit.
My very first.
I'm an Orson Scott Card fan, and
Oh.
he
He's
does
pretty
some
good.
sci-fi that is amazeballs.
Okay, how about Joe Halderman?
I don't know
haven't
that
read
name.
him. No.
Oh, he is as close to Robert Heinlein as I ever.
Really?
Check out Callahan's Cross Time Saloon. Joe Halderman.
I have a
And then-
list from
and then
today.
the one after that is Time Travelers Strictly Cash.
Is it got that fucking fucked up humor in it?
No, he's an excellent writer. He is okay. Frank Herbert,
Frank Herbert, Dune.
the guy, he's brilliant. He created this entire universe and made it real.
He made
and
a
then his son
killer-ass
carried
universe.
on after he died and wrote all of the prequels to the Dune books. So each one of the families that they talk about, it's basically their history and how this all came about. Awesome stuff.
I love that there are so many different genres of science fiction itself.
Ursula Le Guin.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic sci-fi.
And it all depends on who's writing
A
it.
Boy and His Dog.
That's a good one.
Harlan Ellison. Yeah, that was an excellent.
William says, forget Lex, watch Lost Girl, much better Canadian sci-fi.
Lost Girl is not sci-fi. Lost Girl is fantasy.
Well, kind of sci-fi-ish. I've seen
It's
Lost
not
Girl.
sci-fi-ish.
And
It's vampires and succubuses. That's fantasy. That's not science fiction.
It's also much like Supernatural. It gets tiring after a while.
It's the same shit over and over again. Listen,
again.
I watched Buffy. I've seen everything else. Seriously. Dean and his brother aren't doing anything Buffy wasn't doing with her lesbian witch friend in the 90s.
How much time we got left, Johnny?
Well, we're over time now, but we're talking about...
4 minutes.
Okay. So, for those of you who live here in Las Vegas, I got an invite to go like a page. And it was from a fellow pagan community member. I put the quotes on pagan because the page that he sent me to was, I'm not going to say the name of the page, and I'm not going to, but he's offering classes. They're training classes on something of light, right? Light training classes.
Do I know this person?
No. It is $500 for 5 hours, and this is what purportedly you're going to learn: how to cure viruses that are not curable with drugs, but only removed by light energy. If you want to spend your $500 on 5 hours of training, come to me.
Yeah.
And
Bitch, I know a Reiki master.
I will train you on something better than curing viruses that cannot be cured by medicine.
For $500, I will teach you how to crochet your own I'm Gonna Die blanket.
Unfucking believable.
$500, you can have a show here for a month.
Right. So there are 3 things about this that piss me the fuck off. Number 1, $500 to train with light. Number 2, and I'm not going to say where, but the location that is allowing this to take place pisses me off. And I will tell you off the air, and it will piss you off just as well.
Oh, man.
And then 3, how dare you send it to me? Unbelievable. Please, please, please. Science first. Do not get hooked into this kind of crap, no matter how metaphysical you are.
Yes, please.
Oh my God.
There is a certain something to some of that shit. I know from personal
I have
experience.
yet to see it.
However, I would never not take my doctor's advice.
Right?
But I know that I, within myself, can help that along.
Yeah.
They say laughter is the best medicine. Yes, it is.
As long as there are not contraindications, because we have a lot of friends who are really into essential oils and things like that. There are still contraindications with some oils with the medicines that you're receiving from your doctor. So you need to check on that shit.
Right.
Yeah. If you are going to take any sort of supplement and you are on any sort of prescribed medicine, you need to talk to your doctor. Fuck the pharmacists. They're idiots.
Unless it's
I don't care what kind of training they've been to. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor and say, listen, I'm taking Mumbo Lumbo Jimbo every morning. And the doctor will be like, well, you can't do that because it cancels out your cancer medication. So get off the Mumbo Lumbo Jimbo.
One of the medications I take, they tell me do not eat grapefruits.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually a common... That's a common contraindication fruit.
Right.
Grapefruit.
Yeah, one of my meds is the same way.
But I can eat oranges.
It's an enzyme in the grapefruit.
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean, because it causes the enzyme buildup and then...
Yep. All right, so that's all for us. Science rules.
I'm Elexia.
I'm Johnny Fever.
And I'm Sierra.
And we will see you next week.
If you're brave enough.
Later, bitches.
Non-toxic. Non-toxic.
Non-toxic. That's going to be the name of the show, too.
Today's show is non-toxic.